Howdy folks, TJ here. If you're as old as me, you've been computering for a long time. If you're a child of the 60s, that means in the 70s you were enjoying computers. The computer world was a booming. Apples and Tandy TRS, or was technically Radio Shack TRS-80, and the Sinclairs and the Ataris and all the other oddball ones that came around. Well, not exactly oddballs, they were all great. And I actually, other than the Commodore, just joking, I actually like the Commodores too. I was watching a video this morning, and so I thought, why don't I make a quick video, TJ's video game computer history in 5. 5 meaning 5 minutes. But no, you know I'm not going to just chat for 5 minutes. It's probably going to be more like 10 minutes. We'll see. It could be 15 minutes. I don't know. But let's chat. So, 1970s, my first computer, it's really a video game system, but it had a keyboard, was the Odyssey 2. My friends had Atari. They had Intellivision. One had a ColecoVision. Actually, I think the Intellivision didn't come out until like 79. Me, 77. Odyssey 2, the Atari 2600 was well entrenched in all of my friends' home, but I had to be different. I wanted a computer. I wanted to program in BASIC. Odyssey 2 came with a little basic computer intro, and I made a game. You couldn't save the game, but you could make the game. The game was hit, how many letters do you want to type in? 5, and it will come up with something stupid. So Odyssey 2 was my first in 1977 off of the top of my memory. And then junior high school. Do we have computers? That's what this video was about. He was talking about his Apple II history. Only the rich kids had apples at their schools. Junior high, no computers at all that I remember. High school, we did, because I was in high school from 80 to 84. So computering was well entrenched. I mean, a lot of companies were really just coming out, like the Atari 400, 800 came out in late 79, but I believe technically 1980 or around them. So 80 to 84 was vibrant. You had all these companies wanting to get piece of that pie, because prior you had the Apple, you had TRS-80, and you had the Commodore PET. So which one did TJ use in high school? A Commodore PET. It was actually a cool computer. We'd bring our cassettes in, and I would cherish my time sitting in front of those weird keys on the PET and typing in a game and saving it on cassette. And again, the game was, what room do you want to go in? 1, 2, or 3? 2. Okay, the dragon killed you. That was the game, but we saved it, and I had fun time. Again, only the rich kids had apples. I don't know of anybody that had apples. Well, I actually had some friends that had apples. I didn't have no damn Apple. I purchased an Atari 800 in 1980. So even though in high school I was learning to program on a PET in computer science class, I purchased an Atari in 1980. So Atari 800 is what I ended up choosing. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that I was considering, and this is weird for the USA blokes, because I'm a USA bloke myself, I was considering a ZX80, a Sinclair ZX80. That's weird, right? But it's because the price. The Atari 800 was $1,000. The ZX80 was like $200. Do the math. I had to buy my own computer. It wasn't going to be given to me, so I saved my paper route money, and the colors of the Atari 800 won me over, and it had sound. My God, of course I went the Atari 800, and I'm so glad I did. But I own a ZX80 today, and I can see the charm, because back in the 80s, I did have friends that had all sorts of computers. One had a TRS-80, one had a ZX, I'm pretty sure it was an 81 around that time, or it was a Timex, but I'm pretty sure it was a ZX81. So I got to learn how to actually program on those weird-ass little keyboards that those weird little wedged computers had. But there was a charm about them. They were small and piquito, and I could stick it in my secret little nook and cranny and program on it if I wanted it. I didn't, because I wanted the colors. I wanted the sound. But it was unique. So what else? I'm gonna sneeze as normal. Okay, what else do we have going on? So 1980s go on, high school's progressing along. Atari 800 did great until 1987. Oh, TJ was out of high school. He was in junior college at the time. Again, we couldn't get paid to go to college, or parents weren't going to pay multi-thousands of dollars to send me to a big college, but they would help and buy the books and do stuff for local junior college. 1987, I purchased an Atari Mega 2 ST. I stuck with the Atari family. The Mega 2 was a bitchin' ass. Oh, that was a good spit. Did you see that spit progress? I'll have to watch this a little later. 1987, Mega ST, so cool, loving it. Again, a lot of friends that were in college at the time had a bit more advanced computers. Some of them had Macintosh. I couldn't afford a Macintosh, but I had a Jackintosh because power without the price, I got a hair on my glasses. Don't you hate that when you get a little hair and it's tickling your nose? And hold on a second. I need to go off camera here for a second because my nose is like a Beavis and Butthead. So crunchy. Oh, see, I don't script anything. I just wing it. So if I've got to blow my nose, I'm going to blow it. But I didn't blow it. Anyway, okay, so 87. I am dating, and I'm actually dating my future wife. Believe it or not. I met her in junior college, of all places, in art history class. I couldn't draw shit. I don't know why I went into art. I think because of graphic design and being computerized and I could see that whole world, I decided to get a AA degree in graphic design because I am kind of, I'm not artsy, but I'm very, I like CAD. I like designing logos and I like that thing. So I met her there and I've been married to her now for about to be in March, 35 freaking years. People don't stay married as long. Are we perfect? No. Do I love her? Yeah. Does she love me? I don't know. I think she does. Hopefully she does. We're still married, so that's a good sign. Anyway, okay, so 87. So I progress along. The Ataris, they got the TTs coming, the Mega STEs, and the Falcon, and all these things. And I'm in now occupations. I'm out of junior high. I got an AA degree in graphic design. I actually did design a logo for the company that I actually did work for a while. I'll have to find my business card if I saved one. It was called ER Corporation and Godfather Computer. One of the same, but I designed the logos for that company. So my graphic design did come into play, but I was in customer service. That's my specialty because I like people. I think. No, actually I don't. No, I do. We'll say I do. So yeah, graphic design. I designed that. So I needed something a little bit more powerful. My Mega 2 was getting a little crusty. It was still cool. It was still working. And I needed a bit more businessy computer. And I could see Ataris and the Commodores going down, down, down. They weren't doing too well. They were having a problem. And I was in occupation where I needed to be able to transfer documents and do things that were more business oriented because the businesses I worked for weren't using Ataris. They weren't. Did I start this recording? I sure hope I did. We're gonna go with it. And if I didn't, I'm gonna go a big F word. Anyway, so I needed to get something. I could see the Ataris and the Commodores were going out of business. So what did I do? I jumped over to the Apple Macintosh world. And I'm loving it. I love Apple. Are they perfect? No. Is there any perfect company? No. They all have their problems, but I love the Apples. I love the stories. I love the personalities, even though some of them are demented, but social. And they've got time warps and all sorts of weird shit. Distraction fields. What was Steve Jobs' thing? Oriented deflection field, one of those fields. It was crazy. But yeah, I fell in love with all that charm, all the weirdness of it. And I went with Apple. And my first Apple Macintosh that I purchased, I think was an 840 AV. If I remember right. I getting a little old, but I think it was an 840 AV if I remember. Someplace in the early to mid 90s. And then I graduated. And I'm not going to remember every computer. At the time, though, I was considering the Falcon. Atari was going out of business, though, and I go, I saw the Atari Falcon down at the Glendale, California, a World of Atari show. It was like 1992? Something like that, whenever the Falcon was announced. And I remember going down to that festival or expo or World of Atari. It was awesome. And I saw a Falcon, but I go, is it going to cut the mustard for my work needs? And I ended up going Apple. I'm kind of happy I did because Atari soon was gone for good. But yeah, I kept with Apple and I upgraded and upgraded. I went to the 8100. I went to the PowerPC after the 840 AV. I went to the 8100 AV. I love those AV. I got spittle and stuff all over my glasses. AV model because it's audio visual. That's what Apple was all about. And then I what was after the 8100 AV? I'm pretty sure I used that for, I was always 5 years. Every 5 years I wanted a new computer. 5 years, new computer, get rid of the old. And I don't really remember ever selling any of them. I think I just gave them away to Goodwill or something. I don't know. I was generous, but stupid at the same time because I wish I kept them all. But I think I went to a G4 Cube. I love the Cube. I always love those oddball computers, so I went with the Cube. Now, there's lots of years in between Atari going out of business, me having Apples, and me getting a G4 Cube. I was reminiscing at that point, and even though I had got rid of my Atari 800, and I got rid of my Atari Mega STE, again, Goodwill, I started going, what did I get rid of these things for? Just because I'm married doesn't mean I can't have a life. I'm pretty sure around, right after they went out of business, I purchased a B-Box. I purchased a Next Cube. I had a bitchin' ass Next Cube set up with dual dimension cards. 2 of them, not one, but two 21-inch Next monitors, and the monochrome monitor. I had a triple-headed dragon of a Next computer that, again, I did sell that one. I sold it back to Rob Blessings of Black Hole, which still does Next stuff today. Just the Cube. The monitors, no one wants to touch them because they weigh about 1,000 pounds, and no one wants to ship those things. So I actually ended up for $100 getting rid of, I said, I got all this old Next stuff, a Next printer, a color one, a laser one, 2 21-inch monitors, a monochrome monitor. Some bloke came from San Francisco area and bought them for $100. Again, I kind of wish I kept it, but I kind of glad I didn't because you can see my office. I've got a lot of computers. I have no room for a 12-inch cube with multiple 21-inch monitors. It was cool, but am I going to use it today? Probably not. Am I using my Ataris? Yes, but they take up a little bit less real estate. Am I using my 8-bit? Absolutely, daily. Again, real estate. So, and I'm loving these older 8-bits, just taking them to the maximum I can and having fun with them. And then my Ataris, just loving it. So anyway, there was a lot of, I started collecting. So right after I got rid of my Ataris and went with Apple, I started recollecting things, B-boxes, cubes, and then moving them on. But then I started getting back into Ataris, and I purchased an Atari TT. Was my first after the Mega ST, but I didn't purchase it until Atari was doing their fire sale. They were closing their offices. They were getting rid of stuff. I bought a TT that was pulled off of somebody's desk. And so I had a TT with a 19-inch monochrome monitor. Stupidly, again, I got rid of it. I don't remember selling it. I think I just got rid of it. And this was back in the 1990s. And then I did start collecting again, but kind of keeping. I got a Falcon. And then I ended up selling the Falcon because the shit hit the fan. Job was of an issue. I think a company I worked for was laid off and I needed the money. And so I sold the Falcon. Never again, because I now own a Falcon again and it cost me a lot of money, a lot more than I sold mine for. And I'm keeping it. I don't give a shit. If I have to eat freaking cardboard out on the front deck, I'm keeping my Ataris. Anyway, so I collected a Falcon, and then I collected a TT again. I've got a 520 ST, a Mega STE, a 1040. I don't own a Stacy yet, but I need to own one of those. A Mega STE. I've been collecting all these computers, Sinclairs, Shabazel, you name it. I've got Auric Atmoses. I've got computers from overseas. I fell in love with the whole world of Sinclair, which again, for a USA bloke is kind of odd, but it's such a neat platform, such a neat group of people. I now have fallen in love with the Speccy Next, which is behind me, and is probably one of the most used 8-bit computers I have in the home. and one of my favorite because I made video games on it. Things that I never did back in the 80s, I did now in my older age. And so I blame the Specky in Sinclair world for bringing back that vigor of me loving my Ataris, loving all these other computers. I think that's about it. I use a lot of stuff. You've been watching my channel. I use a lot of European-based 8-bit computers. I've got a Sam Coupe. You name it. I've really dug in, and I'm not going to sell any of this damn stuff. I'm tired of having, again, if the shit hits the fan, well, fine. I'm going to sit out and friggin' eat. I was going to say cow dung, but I don't want to do that. I'll eat cardboard, but not cow dung. But yeah, that was my computer history. Did you think you would mix cow dung with computer history? Never, but unscripted. This is how my brain operates. But yeah, I used a lot of stuff, and I was reminiscing back in Commodore PET. It is a cool computer. I make fun of my friends like Eric that use Commodores, but the PET was pretty damn bitchin'. Very space age looking, and it comes from a time where you have Mr. Trammell owning Commodore and then leaving Commodore and becoming Atari. So I guess I do have a love for Commodore at the same time. Love or hate the Trammells. I think they're cool. I named my TT Leonard. And I even got a message from Leonard in the video saying he doesn't remember the computer because the box I received it in had a label that was mailing. This person was mailing the TT back to Leonard Trammell. And I've got that box and I've made a video, so go watch that video. So I'm in love with Atari, in love with all these computers. I've had a very fun, vibrant history, and hopefully another 20, 30 years, I don't know, I'll be pretty crusty. I'm going to have to move these computers onto a museum or something, but I'm continuing to develop and recycle and relearn all this stuff over again, and hopefully you're here for the ride. So tell me about your history down below. How was it? Did you go through the same motions as me, having to dump an Amiga or a Commodore and move to an Apple or whatever? Let me know. Thanks for watching the video and have a great rest of your day. Bye.